Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kara here with another Guardian Tales video. And in this video, I just want to talk about my account and where I'm at and how I'm thinking about the game and where I'm going with the game. Because I just enjoyed the discussion, and I think a lot of people, especially in these games, this is what I look for in content, is I want to see what other people are doing, and I like to compare what I'm doing to them. Like, am I doing something crazy? Are they doing something way better than me? Whatever. So I'm just going to share how I think about the game and based on where I'm at in the game, because I would like to... I think I'm pretty advanced, definitely wailing out on this game. So definitely take where I'm at with a grain of salt. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of lessons I've learned that you don't have to learn the hard way like I did, based on just how much more progression I've been able to do due to spending money in the game. So first I want to show is just where my roster's at. This is kind of like a roster review, if you will. I've done this in other games, and I think it's just a nice way to discuss. So first thing, this is essentially my main team. This is the team I used for Coliseum. This is the team I used for Amazon Zone. And the only difference being that I use Beth in my arena team. So I use Agma, Beth, and Future Princess for my arena team. Liking this team, I did have a Bianca maxed, and I decided to actually do a hero reset with that pack. It was like, I forget, it was like $30 pack or whatever for Christmas, and they had a hero reset set in it, and I ended up resetting my Bianca and then using those resources on Beth. So I chose to have Beth over Bianca, reason being why I got rid of my Bianca. And I guess not really get rid of it, it's just don't feel like she deserved the priority that she had on the account. I preferred having Beth right as of now, because I think Beth is significantly better PvP unit. Also, just my experience in Coliseum and in Amazon Zone, and then also in higher in Orbital Tower, I just can't get her AI to work properly. She constantly would kill herself. It'd be very frustrating. Like, on paper, she works really well with Garam, and I've seen people there's obviously people at the top of Coliseum that use Bianca, but I just couldn't get her to work. I really like her as a character. I wanted not really make her work, but I was really looking forward to trying the synergy of Garam plus Bianca. Just didn't work out as well as intended. I feel like the synergy between Bari and Rue is significantly better, because Rue's AI, from my experience, just seems so much better. So that's why I'm looking more forward to eventually getting up the Earth characters than really doubling down on the Water style characters. And I think they just do a significantly more damage when it comes to like raid damage. When it comes to Coliseum, they're now the new dominant force because they directly counter water, which I feel like is a little concerning, because they can manipulate the AI to where it's like, okay, here's going to be meta water characters, and then boom, now we have more meta earth characters to really push them over the edge, because Rue's AI just targets the water characters. So I feel like that's a slippery slope there. I hope that wasn't like an intentional thing, but I don't think it is. I really like how the developers have been making this game. I'm just saying, like, I've seen this in games where Marvel Strike Force, but in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, they ended up coming out, they had the Sith Triumvirate, and then they came out with Revan, and then specifically, like, the AI on Revan would always target Nihilus. It was hard programmed in the game to, like, all right, we're gonna just go straight for him, or always go straight for Traya. Like, whatever the best choice to make, he would do. So it's just, I hope they don't do something similar to that. That's just kind of like my fear in these kind of games when it comes to Guardian Tales in this case. But this is the main roster here. This is working on Beth. I'm really liking Beth in the arena team. I do see people that chose to go with Marina instead of Agma, and I like that change. And so far in arena, there's this meta going on now. This like rotation of, okay, so you like, what do you put in first? Do you put in Future Princess? Do you put in like in the order of your roster? I think is kind of it really changes the matchups. This is the meta that I've seen the most today. Usually it's pretty straightforward. Like, okay, Future Princess goes first, and then next they have Agma, and then lastly they have Nari, and then it's like, oh, okay, they flipped it. They just put Nari in front to counter Future Princess. Like, it's not as deep. Whereas I feel like this meta, it's like, okay, so you have, okay, are they still running Future Princess, or are they still running Nari to counter Future Princess? Okay, well, Beth could go first. That counters Nari. But then do they do that intentionally to then see if they can actually do good against Future Princess? Because I think Beth, even though she's off typing, doesn't do that badly against Future Princess. Do you put in Agma to try to stack your going for the boxes and stack boxes versus like Beth to start off, and then you try to take over the game with like a buffed up future princess. Like I feel like there's a lot of interesting choices that you can make when it comes to the your team turn order in arena, and I like where it's going when it comes to arena there. And in Coliseum, if we look at the top here, it's just purely dominated by very similar things, but Rue has been a big standout for Coliseum in my opinion. We see a lot of her. Like this is very interesting. I'd never seen this. Maybe I don't know if this is a troll thing or if this is intentional, but seeing her with Rue and no Bari, that's very cool, and that's the number one guy. And then you have Bari Nari and Rue, Tinia, Bari. That makes sense. That same thing here. You have just Rue being used, and I feel like this is not getting talked about enough, that Rue is actually legitimately a good character. Like if you are becoming one of the main meta characters in Coliseum, you're not a must pull in my opinion, but you are a very good pull, especially if you already have these characters. If you want to push it over the edge on Coliseum, then that's good. I think she's getting kind of slept on. And I've phased to fully geared up Rue in Arena, and I'm not saying she's like going to take over the meta, but she did a ton of damage. Like it was, I don't have it recorded, but it was Beth went into, like, it was like I killed the first guy and then Beth had half health and then she handled Beth pretty easily. I thought like, there's a lot of Beth matchups that if you're not like one of the best characters of the game, she just runs away with it because of her shield. Whereas Rue was able to come up, finish out Beth, and then took out a little less than half of my future princess's health, which I think speaks to just how good she is as a character, even in arena, but she's really thriving in Coliseum. So I definitely don't sleep on Rue if you pulled her. So I think that's pretty sweet. And then we can see that Rue is like single-handedly taking out Garam's. Like you see one there, but the usage rates of Garam has fallen off a cliff compared to what he was a week or two ago. So that's really interesting when it comes to Coliseum. Just want to touch on this event here. I think this story has been awesome. I thought this was a really fun story. I do want to do the rest of this. This is so hard. This is crazy hard. This one was tough too. A lot of people on Reddit were complaining how hard this is. I like that they have difficult content like this. That's something that keeps coming back for. I've never been a fan of hard content like this, even though I do appreciate it and I'm going to try to beat it. It is challenging and I want to try to finish this, but if it's I like challenges that involve the game I'm playing. Like I don't want it to be a mini game and it's tough because it's a mini game. I do appreciate this challenge here. It's really hard to do, but you're playing Guardian Tales. Like I'm choosing to play Guardian Tales. I don't want to get gated by a random side game is kind of what I'm trying to say here. And then I haven't seen this. I don't want to spoil it, but definitely going to be doing that probably on stream. Probably going to be streaming a lot of Guardian Tales. I want to stream that, and then I also want to try to beat the Dark Tower. This right here has been so tough, but in a good way. This is the kind of challenge I like, even though super dick move that they do by having you beat. I don't know if you look it up if you've seen it, but like one of those really hard mobs, they have you beat a group of enemies at the top, at the bottom, and then you have this really hard boss. And so I finally beat it, and then it's like, okay, dope. I cleared the stage, and you run in, and then they have you shoot you into the hardest, like one of the hardest groups of mobs. Which would normally, if that was the start of the encounter, that'd be really easy. But you probably lost people because your AI sucks against the last guy, and it sets the precedent that you have a breather before you get to face the bad guy. But in this case scenario, at the very end, they force you in and shoot you right into the encounter. You're like, oh, okay, so I got bodied. So like their plan worked, and it was an unfun experience. But the characters I'm using so far for it, let's see if I still have the team built. Here, look. I've been using Beth as the lead. Ogma. I don't want to use Ogma, but I need to. But the reason why I don't like to use him is because he does this like big. I like the boss guy targeting me, so I can dodge it and I can move away from the AI stuff. But he ends up targeting Ogma first, and Ogma just doesn't dodge. He just sits there and just eats it, and it's gonna kill you regardless. It doesn't matter how tanky you are, how much health you have. You will die to that move that he throws at you. So it's just frustrating. So ideally, I would have different characters, but I need the defense for the extra survivability. So I've been using him, but maybe I'll try something different. But then I've been using her. I like Arabelle's been very good because of the extra damage boost, but then also the chain skill A lot of these other characters here, let me get the last one, which is Lupina. And I've been putting her in. Ideally, these should be more leveled up, but I feel like this should be enough to be able to beat the tower. I have two fully max limit broken characters, one character that's 4-star with a lot of awakening stones on. So like, I should be able to beat this. Like I feel like I have enough resources to beat it. But the reason why I have Arabelle is, you know, I think she's kind of a no-brainer. But the chain skill, all these other ones don't proc. Like it's when you activate this one, Agma and Lupina can go, whereas I can actually bounce back and forth between. Oh, my bad. Let me back up here. I'm not using her. I'm using Karina. Ideally, I would have this team here if I had her all maxed out, but she dies too quickly. She does too quick. I want range characters and her to be the only main one, so I can actually dodge and not get these guys kills, and then maybe they would all survive, or maybe 1 or 2 survive, so I can finish off that final wave. But this would be ideal, but I have to use him to actually, you know, because Lupina's just going to die instantly. So that's it for the Dark Tower at the moment. I'm excited for this. The next one's going to be an Earth Tower. So I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of success with that because so many people went and maxed out their Baris. You have Rue's a good character. Tinny is a good character. So I think there's a lot of options for Earth characters. So I'm excited for the next one of these. This is expiring here in a few days. So I want to stream this. I want to stream this event here. So look out for a stream here in a few days. What else is going on here? This Guardian camp, I do want to say, like, the requirements are getting pretty ridiculous to actually progress this. For example, to get to, I want to say, to go past 200, you're needing you need to have 12 unique characters, and you need to have one with a limit broken weapon +3 to get past this. So key, if I still have the screenshot of it, I'll post it, but just keep in mind that these tiers, eventually most players are going to get gated at a certain level until they can progress. This is not just an ongoing, always going to be progressing thing. This is, I'm kind of mixed about this because it's kind of interesting that it's like rewarding your playtime, but at the same time it's rewarding pulls as a way of a progression, which is normal. To be honest, like the more I think about it, the more I'm okay with it. But I really enjoy the game. I've been spending money in the game, so it's like I'm not going to be gated by it. But I think most people are. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about how they're progressing this game when it comes to the Guardian base camp, because this is for most people the most impactful way that they're going to progress their accounts, except for evolution stones. And those are going to be few and far between. Those actual big upgrade milestones are few and far between compared to this constant upgrading of the base camp here. So I like it, but I feel like I potentially could be out of touch there. And I've been enjoying the raiding. I finally joined a active guild, and I've been having a lot more fun with the raid here. I'm enjoying this a lot. The teams I've been using here, let me show you the teams I've been using and kind of give you an average amount of damage I've got here. Let me put them up. So the first team I've been using is Garam. Okay, so the first team I've been using here is this Garam led team. He's just by far, so far from what I've seen, the heaviest hitter. I want to say the Earth team led by Bori, or maybe another character as the actual leader, but Earth faction I think has the max potential for damage. But I've been having a lot of success with this one. Ideally, I would have a Bianca somewhere in here, maybe replace Nari and use Nari for a different team, but I've been liking this. And then also probably have Rachel in here as well when I can actually afford the awakening stones for her, and then I can really maximize having a pure water team and then be able to use these characters in Nari and Elvira in other teams, because these two characters are S tier for rating, but being able to break them up and put them on other teams can probably maximize my damage. Then we got the dark team I've been using, and in this situation I'm just trying to go for as much damage as possible. Survivability is not too important because how the chain skill works with Beth, you can lock them down pretty easily. But I've been liking this one. So you got Arabelle from earlier, and then where else? Let me just search by DPS. So we have Karina and Lupina. And I feel like for this team, Grimory would be better, but the big benefit you get from dark characters is the dark damage buff. So I think I don't have the exclusive weapon for Grimory, but when I do, I'm probably going to put in Grimory in place of Lupina until I can actually afford to level her, because she's only 3-star versus Grimmary's 5-star. But I'm going to test the two and see what's actually better damage. But my guess is going to be Karina at the moment is going to be better damage, and then eventually Lupina will take that over. And then lastly, my final team ideally would be that Earth team I'm talking about, but I've just been kind of putting in like a ragtag group of people in to try to, depending on which boss is still up. And she's been on it. Future Princess usually becomes like lead on it. So throw in Bari, throw in Grimmary, throw in Maya, depending if I just to be able to survive it. Stuff like that. That team is not really optimized for damage. It's just kind of like what I have left over. Usually get like 900k to $1 million off this final team here. This team usually get about 2 million, and I use it against this boss here because she's basic, or he or she is basic, and you get the bonus there. And then I've been using Garam's team over here on the light team because you get a little bit of a bonus with Nari, but that's mainly about it. And then usually if I'll probably like hit Sand Monster or just hit her again with the other team, just because this chick's actually pretty tough even with fire characters. It's really hard to get good damage on her, so maybe I'll do some like guides on how to maximize damage on the specific bosses, but that'll be for a different video. And that's about it. I just enjoy the game. I wanted to share how I'm experiencing the game. Last thing I do want to say though is what I'm actually farming. I feel like that's important. I know this is probably something I should have put at the beginning of the video, but what I've been farming, I'm just trying to exclusively go for evolution stones. I want to finish Garam, and then I can move my training room over to probably Bianca is going to be temporary. And then, but I'm actually going to farm Bari and Rue. I would like to really build out that Earth team and have the option, because the way I look at Garam and Bari are like the two main characters that I think are gonna be here to stay for a very long time when it comes to damage in Colosseum. So I want to have them both built, and then I want to be able to move my training room around based on what I actually have available. So I ended up committing to Garam, even though I prefer the Earth characters. I think sticking with your farms is the way to go. So I've been going here farming Garam. I think I'm almost done, relatively almost done. I just need like about 265 or 66 of these guys, and then I'm done with him, or done because he still needs to get limit broken. And then I'm gonna move all my farming over to Bari. That's the plan for me. Let me know down in the comments what you guys are farming. If there's anything you'd like to discuss about the game, just let me know down on the comments, and especially in my Discord. Like, that is something I've been trying to build up. A lot of people have been joining it. Been really awesome to see a lot of new faces here in the Discord. Be sure to join that if you're looking to talk all things Guardian Tales. And with that, guys, I am out. Peace.